Hey guys, Joshua Neal here, and today we're taking a look at Third Day of a 7-Day Binge by Marilyn Manson. Remember, if you enjoy the lesson, please click like and let me know. You can also leave me a comment or a question down below. I do my best to get back to all of those. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future updates. And as always, grab that full note-by-note riff and tab transcription down in the box so that you can follow along at home. All right, let's get to it. So this one is a nice, easy lesson. If you haven't been playing bass that long, this is a great way to get into it. The bass is tuned standard, that is E, A, D, G, so you don't have to mess with any of the alternate tunings that we sometimes get into in hard rock and heavy metal. And as well, the song really only contains two separate riffs, which makes it very, very easy to learn and memorize. Those riffs happen to contain a lot of the same notes, and they all take place in this general area of the bass, so you really don't have to shift around too much. So again, we're tuned in standard on this one, E, A, D, G. I'm using my fingers. The bass player may be using a pick on this one. I'm not sure. It's a newer guy. I don't think it's Twiggy Ramirez playing bass. I think it's a different guy just for this recording. So I'm going with my fingers because that's what I'm a little more comfortable with, and also I want to get that really fat sound out of the instrument and not have too much attack on it. So let's jump into it. Looking at riff number one, we're going to start on the low E string, and we're going to have this nice repetitive figure, what is sometimes called the classic rhythm, because it comes up a lot in classic bass playing, particularly old Motown and R&B records, which is a quarter note on beats 1 and 3, and then an eighth note on the and of 2 and the and of 4. It leaves a whole lot of space for the snare drum to really stick out and pop, and this really helps to drive the groove along, which is part of the reason why this song has such a nice groove to it. So those first two measures are going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. Rest. The biggest issue you're going to have here is make sure that those rests are very, very clear. Make sure that you're leaving a whole lot of daylight for the snare drum to stick out so that you can help propel the groove along. You don't want to step on it. Again, that's 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. Next two measures, which goes into the first ending. The first time we finish this riff, we're going to take the first ending. Goes 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So that note that you're changing to is a G. It's on the 3rd fret of the E string. That comes in on the and of 3, the second half of beat 3. Looking at just the first ending rhythmically, we would have E, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, G, G, G. You take the repeat sign, that's that bracket with the dots. You would jump back to the beginning of the riff and go through it again. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, rest. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Now we're in the second ending. And 3, and 4, and. We're grabbing the 3rd fret of the A string, that's a C. So that second ending altogether is 1, 2, and C, and 4, and. So the whole riff number one together is going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. Rest. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. Rest. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and C, and 4, and that goes right into riff number 2. This is the only other riff in the song other than some rests in the middle. You're going to play this riff for the entirety of the rest of the song. So let's jump into it. It follows a lot of the same rhythms that we just established in riff number 1. We're going to start with that open E, doing our classic rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and. Right on beat 3, we're going to have 4 eighth notes on this 3rd fret of the A string, 4 C's, 3 and 4, and continuing on, we've got the open E classic rhythm again, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and. On on beat 3 this time, we're going to go to the 5th fret of the A string. This is D, and we're going to have the same rhythm there. 3 and 4 and. So let's go back and just go through the first line of riff number 2 in its entirety. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and C, and 4, and E. 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and D, and 4, and. Into the second line of the riff, we're going to start on the 3rd fret of the A string. We're going to start on C. We're going to do that classic rhythm again. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Now we're going to change to an A. I like to do A, in this case, on the 5th fret of the E string because it's a little easier to control. It's a little easier to do the muting. You could do this 5th fret A as the open A string. That would also work. If you don't want to change strings in the middle of this, you could go either 5th fret or open A, doesn't matter. But the rhythm is going to be 1, 2, and 3, rest. So this is really the only tricky part of the riff, is that there is a stop here. We don't do the 4/8 notes or any other variation thereof. We rest on that beat 4. And then we continue into the last 2 bars of the riff, which are the same as the first 2 bars. On the E, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and C on the 3rd fret, and 4, and. So let's go back and play that entire second riff again, that main riff of the song. Ready? And 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and C, and 4, and E. 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and D, and 4, and C. 2, and 3, 4, and A. 2, and 3, rest. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and C, and 4, and. Back to the top of riff number 2. You're going to play that 7 times, then you're going to rest for a full 16 bars. It's the bass is really, really prominent on this recording, so it's very easy to hear where there is and is not bass. So even if you're not comfortable with fully counting out all of these repetitions or the number of rests in the bar, it's very obvious when the bass goes away and when it comes back. You're going to rest for a full 16 bars. You would come back in. It's marked as riff number 2A, but it's identical to riff number 2. I just wanted to break it up in the transcription. You're going to play the main riff, the riff number 2, again 4 times. No changes, no variations, no nothing. Just straight through 4 times, and then you're going to end on an open E here. And you're just going to let that hang. That's that little, it kind of looks like an eye sitting over the note. It's the curved line with the dot. It's called a fermata. It means to just hold the note longer than you typically would hold it. It's often used when there's not a specific number of beats or a specific length of time that a note is to be held. When it's up to the player or up to the composer, we use that fermata there. So again, you're going to go through that riff number 2 4 times at the end after the rest. You're going to go through that main riff 4 more times. You're going to end on an open E and just let it hang. And that's it. There it is, guys. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you did, be sure to click like and let me know. You can also leave me any comments or questions you may have down below, and I do my best to get back to all of those. Remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future updates, and grab that full riff by riff note and tab transcription so that you can practice this one at home. And until next time,